What if life didn't have to feel like a constant uphill battle? What if success, progress, and peace didn't come from grinding harder, but from working smarter? Most people are sprinting through life with weights tied to their ankles. But the people who make it look easy, they've learned the secret. And so can you. Effortless doesn't mean lazy, it means aligned. It means removing friction, building momentum, and designing systems that support your goals without draining your soul. In this video, we'll break down 6 powerful principles that can help you build a life that feels lighter, clearer, and far more effective. Let's dive in. Number 1, build systems, not willpower. Let's get something straight. Willpower is unreliable. It burns hot and fast, but it doesn't last. It's like trying to drive across the country on 1 tank of gas. You might feel strong today, motivated, inspired, but what happens when that fades? What happens when life gets busy, stress piles up, or you simply don't feel like doing the thing you know you need to do? That's where most people fall off track. They rely on willpower to carry them through. But the truth is, willpower is a great starter, but a terrible strategy for long-term success. If you want to build a life that feels effortless, you need systems. Think of a system as a structure that removes friction from your life. It's a setup that makes good choices easier, almost automatic. Systems take your goals and translate them into consistent actions without needing constant motivation. Let me give you an example. Let's say you want to read more books. If your current strategy is to try to remember to read, you're relying on willpower. But what if instead you set up a system? You place your book on your pillow every morning so you see it before bed. You schedule 20 minutes of reading at the same time each night. You leave your phone in the other room so you won't get distracted. Now you've built an environment that supports the behavior. You've made it easy to follow through. You don't have to make the decision every night. You've already decided. That's the power of systems. When something becomes part of a system, it becomes routine. It removes decision fatigue. It reduces resistance. And over time, it builds momentum that makes it feel effortless. Here's the key. Systems don't have to be complicated. In fact, the simpler, the better. A good system answers the question, how can I make this action easier to do consistently? Want to eat healthier? Meal prep on Sundays so your fridge is full of good options. Want to exercise regularly? Lay out your clothes the night before. Make it easier to start. Want to save money? Set up automatic transfers every payday so you don't even have to think about it. Systems are how successful people remove friction from their lives. It's not that they're more disciplined, it's that they've designed their lives to support their goals. Here's a simple framework to build better systems. Make it obvious. Your system should cue the behavior clearly. If you want to write daily, keep your notebook on your desk in plain sight. Make it easy. Reduce the steps between you and the action. If you want to drink more water, keep a water bottle with you at all times. Make it rewarding. Build in positive reinforcement. Track your streak. Reward your consistency. Or celebrate your small win. And most importantly, tie your system to your identity. Don't just build a habit. Build a system that reflects who you want to become. When your system reinforces the belief that I'm the kind of person who follows through, then success becomes self-fulfilling. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking you just need to try harder. But the secret to building a life that feels effortless isn't more effort, it's better design. So stop relying on willpower. Start building systems, because when your environment works for you, when your habits are on autopilot, and when the right behaviors become second nature, life doesn't just get easier, it gets exceptional. Number 2, eliminate the non-essential. Most people aren't overwhelmed because they're doing too much. They're overwhelmed because they're doing too much that doesn't matter. We live in a world addicted to more commitments, more notifications, more distractions, more noise. But here's the truth no one wants to admit. You don't need more time. You need less clutter. Effortless living begins with ruthless clarity. If your life feels heavy, it's likely because you're carrying things that don't belong to you anymore. Commitments you said yes to out of guilt. Projects that no longer excite you. Habits that drain your energy instead of building it. And over time, those small weights pile up until just getting through the day feels like dragging a backpack full of bricks. The solution? Subtraction. Most of the breakthroughs in life don't come from adding more. They come from letting go of what's in the way. Eliminating the non-essential clears space. It gives you room to breathe, think, and move with intention. And that's where the feeling of effortlessness begins. Not from doing everything, but from doing the right things. This is the mindset shift. You don't get bonus points for being busy. You get results from being focused. Think of your time and energy like a spotlight. If you try to shine it in 100 directions, nothing gets illuminated. But if you narrow the beam, you create power, intensity, progress. Here's how you begin to eliminate the non-essential. Get brutally honest about what matters most. What truly moves the needle in your life. What few things create the biggest impact. Everything else is noise. When you're clear on your priorities, decisions become easier. You stop trying to please everyone, and you start serving your purpose. Audit your commitments. Look at your calendar, your to-do list, your daily routines. Ask yourself, does this task move me closer to the life I want to live? If the answer is no, it's a distraction. No matter how urgent it seems, cut it. Delegate it. Say no without apology. Learn to disappoint the right people. You can't say yes to everything and still live an aligned life. You'll have to say no. And sometimes that means disappointing others to stay true to yourself. But the cost of always saying yes is living a life that doesn't feel like your own. Declutter your environment. Physical clutter creates mental friction. A messy space is a constant reminder of unfinished business. Clean out your workspace. Simplify your digital life. Organize your surroundings so they support your focus instead of scattering it. Create protected space for what matters. Eliminating the non-essential isn't just about removing, it's about making room. Room for rest, room for creativity, room for deep work, and real connection. If your calendar is so full that there's no space to think, you'll always feel like you're chasing your life instead of living it. Here's the truth. Simplicity is power. The most successful, fulfilled people in the world aren't doing more. They're just doing less better. They've mastered the art of subtraction. They've trimmed the fat. They've built a life where every piece fits, and that's why it feels light, clear, and effortless. So if life feels too hard right now, don't ask what you can add. Ask what you can remove. The path to freedom is not paved with more. It's paved with less, done with purpose. Number 3, master the power of 1%. Here's a powerful truth that often gets overlooked. You don't have to make massive changes overnight to transform your life. In fact, trying to do everything all at once usually leads to burnout, frustration, and failure. The real secret to effortless progress lies in small, consistent improvements. Improving just 1% every day. That's right, 1%. It sounds insignificant, almost trivial, but here's the magic. When you get 1% better every day, those tiny gains compound over time into massive results. Imagine this: if you improve by just 1% today, and then 1% tomorrow, and keep going every day for a year, by the end of the year you won't be 365% better. You'll be nearly 38 times better. This is the power of compounding, and it's the most underrated force in personal growth. The problem is, most people want the fast track. They want overnight success. They want to flip a switch and become the person they dream of being. But life isn't a switch, it's a process. And the process happens one step at a time. So mastering the power of 1% means shifting your mindset. Instead of chasing huge leaps, you focus on tiny wins. You stop worrying about perfection and start celebrating progress. You learn that consistent small actions are not just better, they are everything. Here's why this approach feels effortless. It reduces overwhelm. When the goal feels huge, it's easy to freeze, procrastinate, or give up. But 1% improvements are manageable. They fit into your day without needing radical disruption. It builds momentum. Small wins create a chain reaction of motivation. Every time you improve just a little, you feel a sense of accomplishment that fuels your next action. It rewires your brain. Habits form through repetition. Tiny improvements repeated daily become part of who you are. You don't have to push yourself. You just become the new version of yourself. So how do you put the power of 1% into practice? Choose a specific area to improve. Don't try to overhaul your whole life. Pick one habit, skill, or behavior where a small step forward will add up. Break it down into micro action. Instead of I want to exercise more, start with I will do 1 push-up today. Instead of I want to write a book, start with I will write 1 sentence. Track your progress daily. Seeing your streak grow is a powerful motivator. It reminds you that progress is real, even if it feels small in the moment. Be patient and persistent. Some days you'll do more, some days less. What matters is you show up consistently, no matter what. The beauty of this approach is it makes growth sustainable. It frees you from the pressure to be perfect or to see instant results. Instead, you trust the process. You trust that small, smart actions add up. And here's the kicker. As your habits compound, the things that once felt difficult become automatic and effortless. The grind fades away, replaced by flow. You're no longer pushing against resistance. You're riding a wave of progress. So remember, the secret to building a life that feels effortless isn't in giant leaps. It's in mastering the art of tiny daily improvement. Focus on getting just 1% better today, and then do it again tomorrow, because over time, those small steps will take you farther than you ever imagined. Number 4, align your life with your identity. If you want a life that feels effortless, one of the most powerful shifts you can make is to align your actions with your identity. This means that instead of just chasing goals or trying to force habits, you start by asking yourself a deeper question. Who do I want to become? Because here's the truth. When your behaviors are in harmony with your sense of self, everything feels easier. Because you're no longer battling resistance inside your mind. You're not acting against your beliefs or values. You're simply showing up as the person you truly are. Most people approach change the wrong way. They say, I want to run a marathon, or I want to write a book, but they don't connect that desire to who they are deep down. Without identity alignment, the gap between who you are today and who you want to become creates friction. It feels like pushing a boulder uphill every single day. But when you start with your identity, your goals become natural extensions of yourself. Your actions become consistent, your motivation more steady, and your progress feels fluid instead of forced. Here's what it looks like in practice. Instead of saying, I want to quit smoking, say I am someone who values health and clarity. Instead of I want to lose weight, say I am someone who respects my body and fuels it well. Instead of I want to be more productive, say I am a person who follows through and finishes what I start. This shift from external goals to internal identity is game-changing. It rewires your brain to seek out experiences that confirm your new identity, creating a powerful feedback loop. When you act like the person you want to be, you begin to feel like that person, and that feeling drives effortless action. Now, how do you start building identity-aligned habits? Clarify your core values and beliefs. What matters most to you? What kind of person do you admire? Write down the qualities that define your ideal self. These are the foundations of your identity. Use identity-based affirmation. Statements like "I am a disciplined person" or "I am a lifelong learner" aren't just words, they're declarations that guide your actions. Repeat them daily to reinforce your new identity. Start with small, consistent actions that prove your identity. Every time you complete a habit, you're sending a message to yourself. This is who I am. For example, making your bed every morning signals I am organized and disciplined. Be patient with yourself during setbacks. Identity change doesn't happen overnight. When you stumble, remind yourself it's part of the process. Return to your core identity, not your old habits. Surround yourself with reminders and environments that reinforce your identity. If you want to be a healthy person, keep nutritious foods visible. If you want to be creative, surround yourself with books, art, and inspiration. When your identity and actions are aligned, resistance melts away. What once felt like an uphill struggle becomes a natural flow. You don't have to force yourself to act, because you're simply being who you are. This is the essence of effortless living, acting from a place of alignment, rather than conflict. The most successful people don't just chase results. They embody the mindset and identity that supports those results. They become the person who naturally creates the life they want. So today, ask yourself, who am I becoming? Then live every day in a way that proves that identity. Because when you do, the secret to an effortless life unfolds naturally. Number 5, design for energy, not just time. When we talk about productivity, efficiency, and building an effortless life, most people focus on time management. They try to schedule every minute, optimize their calendars, or squeeze more tasks into their day. But here's the catch. Managing time alone isn't enough. The real game changer is managing your energy. Why? Because time is fixed. You get the same 24 hours as everyone else. But energy fluctuates. Some days you feel unstoppable, sharp, and motivated. Other days drained, foggy, and slow. If you don't design your life around your energy cycles, even the best schedules and to-do lists will feel like a grind. Effortlessness comes when you align your activities with your natural energy rhythms. Imagine trying to write your best work when you're exhausted, or making big decisions when your brain is tired. It feels impossible, yet most people do exactly that. They treat energy like a renewable resource that never runs out, but it does. So to build a life that feels effortless, start managing your energy first, not just your time. Here's how to do it. Track your energy patterns. Spend a week observing your daily energy highs and lows. When do you feel most alert, creative, and focused? When do you feel sluggish or distracted? This awareness helps you schedule your most important tasks during your peak energy window. Prioritize high-impact tasks for peak energy times. If you're a morning person, tackle your toughest challenges right after you wake up. Save routine or less demanding work for when your energy dips. When you work with your energy instead of against it, productivity flows naturally. Invest in rest and recovery. Rest isn't laziness, it's fuel. Quality sleep is the foundation of sustained energy. Prioritize 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. Take breaks throughout the day to recharge. Movement, fresh air, and hydration all boost energy level. Without recovery, you're running on empty, and everything feels harder. Fuel your body wisely. Food is more than calories, it's energy management. Avoid sugar crashes and energy slumps by choosing balanced meals with protein, healthy fats, and complex carbs. Stay hydrated. When your body feels nourished, your mind works sharper and clearer. Set boundaries to protect your energy. Learn to say no to people, activities, and commitments that drain you unnecessarily. Limit exposure to negativity or distractions. Guard your energy like the valuable resource it is. When you protect your mental and emotional energy, your focus and motivation deepen. Use rituals to prime your energy. Develop daily rituals that prepare your mind and body for high performance. This could be morning meditation, stretching, journaling, or simply sitting in silence. These rituals signal to your brain that it's time to shift into a productive state, making transitions smoother and effort lighter. When you design your day around your energy, not just the clock, you unlock a different level of effectiveness. Tasks that once felt like heavy lifting become manageable. Creativity flows. Decisions come easier. Stress decreases. This shift transforms how you experience your day. Instead of feeling rushed, exhausted, or overwhelmed, you feel in rhythm with your body and mind. Life feels smooth. Actions feel easier. That's the essence of effortless living. So the next time you plan your day, don't just ask, what do I need to do? Ask, when am I best equipped to do it? Manage your energy like the most valuable asset it is, and watch how your life shifts from constant struggle to natural flow. Because effortless living isn't about squeezing more time into your day, it's about harnessing your energy to make every moment count. Number 6. Embrace the flow zone. There's a moment we all crave, but few truly understand. A state where everything clicks, time melts away, and work feels less like work and more like play. This is the flow zone, the secret realm where effortless living thrives. Flow is that magical mental state where your focus is razor sharp, your creativity is soaring, and your energy is perfectly balanced. In flow, challenges stretch your abilities just enough to keep you engaged, but not so much that you feel overwhelmed. It's the sweet spot between boredom and anxiety. Why is flow so important for building a life that feels effortless? Because when you're in flow, your brain works at its best. You're fully present, distractions fade, and progress happens naturally. Effort feels minimal because you're deeply connected to what you're doing. Instead of struggling, you're thriving. Here's the science behind it. Flow triggers a release of neurochemicals like dopamine and endorphins, which boost motivation, creativity, and satisfaction. This creates a positive feedback loop. Doing good work feels great, and feeling great pushes you to do more good work. It's productivity and joy wrapped into one powerful experience. But flow doesn't just happen randomly. You have to design your environment and habits to invite it. Here's how to embrace the flow zone. Choose work that challenges you just enough. Flow happens when your skills meet the right level of challenge. If a task is too easy, you get bored. Too hard, and you get anxious. Find that balance by breaking down big projects into manageable, stimulating chunks that stretch your abilities but don't overwhelm. Eliminate distractions. Flow requires deep focus. Turn off notifications, close unnecessary tabs, and create a quiet workspace. The fewer interruptions, the easier it is to slip into flow. Protect your attention like it's the most valuable currency you have, because it is. Set clear goals. Knowing exactly what you want to achieve helps your brain stay on track. Whether it's finishing a report, mastering a skill, or brainstorming ideas, clarity fuels focus and flow. Ambiguity kills momentum. So define your outcome before you start. Use time blocks. Schedule focused work sessions where you commit fully to a task for 60. This dedicated time primes your mind for flow and reduces the temptation to multitask. When you immerse yourself completely, flow becomes more accessible. Cultivate curiosity and passion. Flow thrives on intrinsic motivation, doing something because it excites you, not because you have to. Find ways to connect your tasks to your interests, values, or bigger purpose. The more you care, the easier it is to dive deep and lose yourself in the work. Practice mindfulness and presence. Flow is about being fully present. Mindfulness techniques, like focused breathing or body scans, can train your brain to stay in the moment. The more you practice presence, the quicker you can enter flow and sustain it longer. Recover and recharge. Flow demands mental energy. Respect your limits and rest well. Take breaks, get outside, and engage in activities that refresh your mind. When you return to your work energized, flow feels effortless, not forced. When you make flow a priority, your work transforms. What once felt like struggle becomes a source of joy and growth. Effortless living isn't about doing less. It's about doing more of what lights you up with full focus and passion. In flow, you tap into your highest potential and unlock creativity and productivity beyond your normal reach. It's the secret ingredient behind effortless success. So don't just chase goals, chase flow. Design your days to invite flow in regularly. Protect your focus, challenge yourself just enough, and watch how your life shifts from resistance to rhythm, from struggle to ease. Because the true secret to building a life that feels effortless is this: find your flow and let it carry you.